An evil serial sexual predator convicted of 159 sex offenses, including 136 rapes, will never be safe to be released, a judge has said. Reynard Sanaga was found guilty of luring 48 men from outside Manchester clubs to his flat, where he drugged and assaulted them, filming the attacks. Police say they have evidence Sanaga, 36, who is being named for the first time, targeted at least 190 victims. The judge ruled his life sentence must include a minimum of 30 years in jail. Reporting restrictions were also lifted at a sentencing hearing at Manchester Crown Court on Monday, meaning Sanaga could be identified for the first time. The Crown Prosecution Service (CPS) said Sanaga was the most prolific rapist in British legal history. The postgraduate student was already serving life, with a minimum term of 20 years, for the offences he was convicted of in two earlier trials, which took place in summer 2018 and last spring. Across four separate trials, the Indonesian national was found guilty of 136 counts of rape, 8 counts of attempted rape, 14 counts of sexual assault, and 1 count of assault by penetration, against a total of 48 victims. The sexual predator who waited outside nightclubs at the hearing, Judge Suzanne Goddard QC, said Sanaga preyed upon young men who wanted nothing more than a good night out with their friends. In my judgment, you are a highly dangerous, cunning and deceitful individual who will never be safe to be released, she said, adding that the decision to release prisoners is made by the parole board. Sanaga would wait for men leaving nightclubs and bars before leading them to his flat in Montana House, Princess Street, often with the offer of somewhere to have a drink or call a taxi. He drugged his victims before assaulting them while they were unconscious. When the victims woke up, many of them had no memory of what had happened. The student, who denied the charges, had claimed all the sexual activity was consensual and that each man had agreed to being filmed while pretending to be asleep, a defense described by the judge as ludicrous. At an earlier sentencing, the judge said she was sure that Sanaga had used a form of date rape drug such as GHB. Home Secretary Priti Patel said she was deeply concerned by the use of such a drug. Police say they have evidence Sanaga assaulted at least 190 victims, but many men have not been identified and will have no recollection of what happened. In victim impact statements read out in court, one victim said Sanaga had destroyed a part of my life, while another said, I hope he never comes out of prison and he rots in hell. I have periods where I can't get up and face the day, another added. Several victims said the ordeal had had a serious impact on their mental health, with some developing suicidal thoughts. Judge Goddard said the scale and enormity of Sanaga's offending meant it was accurate for one of his victims to have described him as a monster. She added that Sanaga had shown not a jot of remorse and at times appeared to be actually enjoying the trial process. Following the sentencing, Ian Rushton, from the CPS, said Sanaga was the most prolific rapist in British legal history and possibly in the world. His extreme sense of sexual entitlement almost defies belief, and he would no doubt still be adding to his staggering tally had he not been caught, he said. He added that he thought Sanaga took a particular pleasure in preying on heterosexual men. Jurors were shown CCTV footage of Sanaga leaving his flat on the hunt for victims. Sanaga, who is studying for a PhD at the University of Leeds, carried out his attacks over several years. The rapist was caught in June 2017 when one victim, who regained consciousness while being assaulted, fought Sanaga off and called the police. When officers seized Sanaga's phone, they found he had filmed each of his attacks, amounting to hundreds of hours of footage. The discovery led to the launch of the largest rape inquiry in British history. Assistant Chief Constable Mabs Hussain said the true extent of Sanaga's offending would probably never be known. We suspect he's offended over a period of 10 years, he said. The information and evidence we are going from is largely from trophies that he's collected from the victims of his crimes. Investigators traced dozens of victims from the videos using clues found in Sanaga's Manchester flat, such as stolen phones, ID cards and watches. Evidence given in the trial suggested Sanaga drugged the men by giving them spiked drinks. Home Secretary Priti Patel said in response to Sanaga's truly sickening crimes, she had asked an independent counsel to prioritize a review into whether controls for drugs like GHB were tough enough. GHB, gamma-hydroxybutyrate, is a Class C drug. Anyone found in possession of it can be imprisoned for up to 2 years. Sanaga's trials took place across 18 months at Manchester Crown Court, resulting in unanimous guilty verdicts on all charges. Detectives say they have been unable to identify 70 victims and are now appealing for anyone who believes they may have been abused by Sinaga to come forward. Sinaga's convictions relate to crimes he committed from January 2015 to June 2017, but police believe he began offending years earlier.